NottsRockCast is an association with Regular Riot. Welcome to NottsRockCast, the Notts Alternative Scene podcast. And here is your host, Jethro D, bringing you everything Notts and rock.
Welcome back to NottsRockCast over YouTube. Yes, this is NRC-033 on YouTube, as I just said, obviously. Right, this week we've got two people that honestly was such a great chat on a Saturday afternoon. It was brilliant. So anyway, don't forget, hit that subscribe button and ding that bell to be notified when more podcasts come out. Now let's get on with the chat.
And I mean, even the last gig we played, the person introduced us as the No Tomorrows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a political thing. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't do politics. Sorry, yeah.
I call him like a brown Labrador.
Yeah.
Right, okay. I'm here today for a chat with Baz and Tracey, the manager of No Tomorrows. Not No Tomorrows. No Tomorrows.
Yeah.
You're primarily a rock band, I'd say.
Yeah, it's like indie rock.
Would you like to introduce yourselves and tell us who you are?
Tracy.
Oh, thanks. Put it on.
Go first.
Well, I'm Tracy, and I've stepped into the role of manager of the No Tomorrows. I'm an employment specialist by trade, so I work for the NHS, trying to get these boys organised and get some gigs for them. But I just believe in the music. It's really good.
Yeah, well, I'm obviously very grateful. Obviously we had a few drinks, and it was girlfriend, and go out and have some fun. Next thing, pick up a guitar and go, well, played some music for about 20, probably, more than that since I was a kid. And then bands break up, and then put stuff on SoundCloud, let you have a listen to that. And then the next thing I know, I'm being booked at a festival and put in for competitions and things like that, and the band's all kicking off again. But at the same time, things happened at the same time. I was like, went out for drinks, met a lady, then advertised again on John My Band, and met an amazing drummer who just moved from London called Danny.
What's his name?
Danny Hewis.
Yeah.
Let's get it right.
Yeah, he's kind of like a bit of a
Danny.
jazz drummer as well, isn't he?
So he's jazz. He's like jazz rock. So he's really flamboyant, and he's got this amazing style. Sent him the set list, emailed him the MP3s, which I recorded as demos myself years ago. And he went crazy for it. And then met Rick, the bass player, who's didn't want to play. He plays in a covers band, and he's playing like covers in his covers band this weekend. And he said he wanted something more original. He wanted to be an original band. Plays a 6-string bass, and he's just he's brilliant, off the scale. Brilliant. He's a powerhouse. Yeah, he really drives hard bass lines and plays hard. So when he heard tracks like Life After Midnight and Thread the End, he just thought they were absolutely hard rockers. But every time, initially I sort of said, you don't really have to smash it that hard. Then after a while, I think I got into his idea. We need to smash it really hard. So he's a powerhouse player. And
the enthusiasm comes across so much when I go and see a band.
Yeah.
And you can tell the ones who really love the music by the way they're dynamic, and they at times smash it, like you said.
Yeah.
And for a bassist to A, play a 6-string and B, really get into it, that's what they're there for. It's the rhythm section.
Yeah, exactly. In the past it was, I've been very lucky. I've always played with fantastic musicians.
Yeah.
And they've turned up and gone, we want this, and been enthusiastic about it, which I think is absolutely amazing. But it was just trying to find bands that would last longer than a year. It's like the kiss of death, really. You just sort of go, and we did some great things and played some great places and got lucky, I suppose. But I think the whole thing was that I wanted to, it's that old school thing, isn't it? I was a record shop kid You sort of say, I'd spend all my money in the record shop. I'd hear my favourite bands. They'd have the hit. I'd go and buy the album, and then the hit was good, and another track was good, and the rest of the album was a bit of a filler. And I started to get a bit, I wanted all killers and no fillers, really, as you say, as the cliche goes.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I just thought, I was always playing guitar, and I did audio engineering from 16 for about 4 years, and did a 4-year course in audio engineering.
Where did you do that?
That was at a place called Tattershall. It was a guy called Ben Duncan, B&J Sound. He had these workshops out at Tattershall, and he built an amp called Ampo 1, which is a kit amp, preamp for audio enthusiasts. Amazing guy, absolute scientist, and I was just his little 16-year-old helper that would build. He did circuit diagrams, and I was quite into that, but I didn't want to be an audio engineer. I wanted to be a frontman. Well, I didn't actually initially want to be a frontman, but I was a rhythm guitarist, and then nobody else would sing.
Oh,
so I had someone would sing, and go, I can do it, and then you go, well, that's not really, and then the drummer would say, that's not really going to cut it, really. You need to and then I just thought, right, well, I'll have a go. And I had a go. And then it went all a bit crazy, really. And then wanted to write stuff, and then went back to wanting to write, tracks that were a very different set that was up and down. It rocked. Or it was a bit ballady, rocky ballady kind of maybe, and very indie. I mean, when you hear tracks like 9 Days, it's kind of a lighter track, and then when you hear tracks like Thread the End, it's full kind of balls to the wall smashing, just absolutely smashing it, but it was kind of just working out how to write songs. But should I just stop talking?
No, I'm sat here thoroughly enjoying this. As I said, you can talk as much as you want about whatever you want. Well, the questions are loose.
Well, it's been bottled up for about 10 years, actually.
Yeah.
But,
Well, take this as your therapy session. The doctor is in the house.
Yeah, like Kane had to walk the planet and just generally be downtrodden, and then eventually meet this lady, and then meet some amazing musicians that, are very mature in their attitudes towards music. And I always do that thing. You always second guess yourself, don't you? I mean, is anyone really liking this? I mean, is this, because it's very self-indulgent to sort of go, well, I think that's the nuts, so I'm going to smash this and stuff. What do you guys think? And they go, we're really into that because it doesn't mess about. And I'm like, well, it's about cutting to the chase, isn't it? And I always, I think if people are clapping or people are going, and they're wanting to join in with that live, then we
did a gig at the farm, for a farm festival, and it's called the African Farm Festival, and we turned up and we thought, I don't know how this is going to go down and stuff like that. And then and everyone loved it, didn't they? But
it was a very African theme. Yeah. Well, it was African Farm Festival, so it was lots of traditional African.
Yeah. And we went then, when you were up on the stage in the barn, minute you struck a chord, like the heavens opened. So
absolutely down on the first chord, which was hilarious.
It reminds me of the movie Still Crazy, where they come on at the first festival that we're at, and the heavens opened, and unfortunately the lead singer got struck down by lightning. They go through this whole reforming 20, 30 years later,
all that trouble,
and then get back on stage at another festival, and the clouds were trying to break through, and the girl who was managing the band just goes, "Don't you dare, God!"
Exactly.
That's going to happen to us.
It was really quite nice up until then. So it didn't even get a warning. And then, but you see, in some ways, the crowd, the gaggle, or sort of some got the bus because they thought they didn't. I suppose they didn't really know what they were getting.
The farmer really enjoyed it because, him and his wife, they came give wine at the end of it.
They sort of said, "Can we have more songs?" And I said, well, I think the PA guy wants to leave and stuff, and I really need a drink because I'm dry here. And then she got up on stage with whatever. It was pretty good wine. It was pretty good stuff, and was pouring it out for the band. So all right, wine means more songs. That's great. So we'll have a bit of a swig of that, and then we cracked on and played more songs. But it was it was the end of the day pack up, and they wanted something to round off the day, but. Again, we just want to smash it, really. And
it's a good gig, weren't it, in the end? Not what you expect, but you've got to do all these type of gigs, haven't you, to get publicity and, and that, and bring it to everyone, don't you, really?
So it turned into, the end of the day, rock African
Yeah, and they did another one at Hyson Green Cultural Festival.
Yes.
At the Forest Green, and that was on
Lovely
a big stage, wasn't it?
Beautiful
It's great.
stage, massive,
Big stage,
lovely, yeah. And good sound guy.
That went down.
Well, kind of a good sound guy.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not dissing him or anything. He was a great guy, but it was rocking. It was loud, But yeah, I mean, we did sort of initially walk around and go, "Where's the bar?" And there's no bar, so I was like, "Okay, this is a cultural festival. Maybe we might."
Wow.
But yeah, no drinks. So yeah, we were a bit.
Did you play better or worse?
We played conservative, which was a bit, and very clear-headed, which was really, a shame. I thought it was quite sad. It was
cool.
It was enjoyable, but a bit sad for me at that time. But
I do like to ask every guest that comes on. It was something I'd taken from another podcast. But can you give us a quote of inspiration you've learned from your time playing in No Tomorrows?
oh my God, well that's sitting on the spot, isn't it?
We did think about two, didn't we? We did one. We say, what was it? The gods favour us or something. Baz, the bringer of rain.
Yeah, exactly. As soon as you hit the chord, it's like, they favour us, but they rain on us, rain down.
So that's really a good thing, though.
But then they did actually then come closer, didn't they? So it worked for that.
Yeah.
I don't know. A point of inspiration. I mean, I would just say, I'd probably say that. I think it's just about a point of inspiration. I would just sort of try to. I know the problem is trying to get bands together where they're strangers. Do you know what I mean? Trying to get a band of strangers together to get behind an idea is difficult.
And what quote would you use to gear them up to get on stage, I suppose?
Trust me, well, it's going to be great.
There we go. That will do. I think
because
that's cool.
as a frontman, I'm going to give you everything I've got. So if you're backing me, we're doing this and we're doing it together.
That's really good.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. So, are you originally from Notts, both of you?
I'm Coventry, born and bred.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
and
a bit of a scar too.
And how long have you been in Nottingham then?
About 6 years now, I think it is. Yeah, I love Nottingham.
And what prompted the move?
Well, I had a bit of a bad marriage, so I kind of came up to Nottingham to escape that sort of thing. So that's how I ended up here. So I went and lived with my sister. So that was that basically.
And now you don't want to move out, I guess. A bit like me. I moved up from down south.
Right.
So I can say wholeheartedly, I'm through and through this city.
It's so friendly. It's like London, but not as busy and crazy as London, is it? But it's got everything in the music scene.
Yeah,
we
have amazing nights out here, really.
Yeah, we do, don't we?
You get on the bus and you have a great time. Yeah, it does go. It kind of goes on and on. Really.
Where's some of your favourite places to go?
Was it the Boilermaker?
Yeah, shh, don't say.
But don't say anything. The Boilermaker.
One of the hidden pubs of the town.
Yeah.
Do you know there's a whole site for that, and there's loads of them around.
I love it.
That you have to try and find.
We haven't found the other ones yet, but because they're hidden.
Yet.
Yeah. Not yet. Yeah. I like that initially. Is this it?
So were you originally from Notts, did you say?
No, you could say I was an RAF. I suppose they call them RAF brats, don't they? So really, my dad was in the RAF and they went around the world a bit, really.
Yeah.
So, born in Essex and then ended up in a place called Rheindahlen in Germany.
Oh, right.
Yeah, which was great, on an RAF camp. You've got lots of different American, all kinds of different nationalities there and stuff. So it's quite funny when people say, where's your accent from? And I say, well, it's from RAF Rheindahlen, really, because everyone was English, but there was Americans, but as a kid growing up there was amazing. We had 2 cinemas on camp, so it was a bit of a closed community.
Yeah,
guys with guns on the fences, which was a bit weird, really saying that, but at the same time, kind of exciting for a kid, you know. But it was, and I mean, I was always sort of looking for something, and but the cinemas gave me everything I needed. If you didn't like what was going on at the Globe, you could go over to the Astra and watch that, And we did revisit it as a bunch of brothers, because I've got 3 other brothers.
Yeah.
It was about 4 odd years ago. We drove back there. My brother, we all jumped in the car and go, let's go and see where we grew up. And went back there and the place is still thriving. They just put a coat of paint on it.
Oh, wow.
Just went back and went, wow, nothing's changed. It's like, it's got extra paint, And there was a swimming pool, the blue pool, and it was great, it's brilliant. If I'm rabbiting on too much, just stop.
No, not at all. I say this is a way of talking to people about different life and culture.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, I'm hopefully going to get someone on from Void Clothing soon.
Yeah.
And I've got 3 or 4 podcasts booked in this week.
That's great.
And I'm like literally just dragging my hair trying to fit everyone in.
That's
I've
great.
actually stopped taking times for podcasts up until the end of September because I've got Bloodstock in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then after that, I'm then going to have to.
I think it's brilliant. Well, I think this is brilliant because it's what's needed.
Yeah.
You need more of an independent. You need people to, And I suppose the biggest thing is whether or not the taking it on. You like the songs that are going on and stuff. I suppose that's always the biggest thing, isn't it? Really.
I haven't found a song yet that I've not liked on the podcast. Everyone who sent me their songs.
I'm not looking for compliments here or anything. I'm just like,
okay, I'll give you a compliment if you want.
No, I wasn't looking.
As I said, I had a jam yesterday and I was talking about what I was doing today with my friend.
Yeah.
And he said, so who are they? And I was like, I'll play you one of the tracks soon as I had the laptop open. And he said, wow, that's really good. And I can't remember for the life of me which song I played.
Yeah.
But he said, he's definitely thought that was very interesting. He comes mainly from a metal background.
That's great.
So it's nice to hear the different levels of recordings as well that I've had.
Yeah.
It's very interesting, especially coming from an audio engineering point of view.
Yeah.
It's nice that I can play these songs, but it's also nice to find out what people are doing, what levels they're putting them at. And, trying to make sure it's kind of consistent. Yeah. Because when you listen to a podcast, it's so easy for people to forget that, hang on, one volume's up here, and then the voice comes in somewhere down there.
How they mix it. I mean, that is a strange thing, isn't it? Because we, years ago, we did a recording with a guy called Johnny, who's from the band Pitch Shifter. And I know he's still around in Nottingham. But we were a very young band, and it was in a band called Dead Driver, which were kind of like, we did like Touch Me, I'm Sick by Mudhoney as a cover.
Oh, wow.
Which was a killer. It's absolutely killer to play that song. I love Mudhoney. And
I've honestly forgotten about that.
Yeah,
there is so much music I've had throughout my life.
The bangers. We listened to Mudhoney again recently, and I just love how they just smash into drums that then kind of go out of tempo or something, or whatever they do, and then they're banging into another riff. But we did we wanted to record a track. We wanted to record a track, and someone knew Johnny and said, he said we can go over, and what did he charged us £100 a track, but it was just, we wanted to work with him because they got such that kind of sound, big sound.
Yeah.
And we did a song called Tokyo Skies, but was initially called The Biker Tune. And it's just a full on, when you hear it, we're like, you had me like doubling up riffs on guitars about 12 times in it. I couldn't I was like, this is crazy. But it was like massive sounding stuff. And then still play the track now and go, it's a massive track. But it's funny about the mix and the vocal, because I was kind of like probably, you had me a bit low down in the mix vocally, but you can get what's going on.
Yeah.
But the guitars and drums and bass were absolutely huge. And we just went, that's what we wanted, really. Forget the vocals, we're not bothered about that. We just wanted to play massive, huge things.
Yeah.
And, it was great. And it was good to work with him, but
yeah, because I suppose because 10 years ago they started off as the No Tomorrows, and the songs that we were getting is like off a proper album that we had in HMV, because you got signed, didn't you, by Osiris Records, didn't you?
No, it was actually no. You see, it was Beat Hut Music, which are a London-based distribution company, and they've got hundreds of people on the label. That's how they make their business.
Yeah,
and because they've got the connection with HMV, they're making lots of money from the artists that they've got and distributing through HMV. So everyone got quite a good cut out of that, really. I mean, I got a bit of money out of it, and it's just why I ended up with my own little studio, really, because I got the money to build that. It's quite handy.
So you've got your own studio now?
I did.
Oh.
And then I lost it.
Oh, no.
God, Yeah, well, that was a marital thing, wasn't it?
Can I...
get into that, really. But it was great. And you see on my Facebook, I've got still video cams of the studio where I rehearsed with some of the guys. It was great. It was great studio. Well, bricklayer. I was a bricklayer, so...
I was going to say, can I ask you, what profession do you do outside of the band?
I'm a builder bricklayer.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm changing job because I just turned 48 and I can't quite, do that anymore. Waking up every morning with kind of tendons not feeling right and stuff like that. But I love building. I love building stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that falls in. It's
do you do that for yourself, or is that?
Yeah, I built my own rehearsal studio in my backyard. I had the house that I had, which I then signed over to someone else, and then that. But we won't go into that.
No.
The person is well deserved of that, really, having to put up with me anyway. So we won't go into that. But anyway, but yeah, it was like built my own rehearsal studio. It was awesome. Right, from the ground up and stuff.
Yeah.
I had like, I think about 6 meters square in the backyard where I had and stuff. And made this, I suppose, made this concrete bunker really. And there's pictures of it on my Facebook, which is hilarious. And there's pictures of me building it. Every time there's a fire on, I'm there with a beer in my hand. Because I had to keep the sugar going, But it was an awesome rehearsal room. And you could have full kit in there going hell for leather and stuff. Double plasterboarded it. And got it inside
foam soundproofing and
loads of that and stuff. But you could have someone blazing on the kit in there, and it just works.
Yeah.
I think
double doors, it just really works.
Yeah, I think my friend, when he was explaining when I was a kid, because he had a really quite big studio in his garden, and he was explaining he put in about 10 layers of the 2-3 inch foam with the aluminium both sides. And he said he fitted all that into the roof and then about 5 layers in the side, and you could not hear a drum
exactly.
kit. Because it was a studio for really heavy metal bands, and no one could hear anything unless the door opened.
That's really good.
Then it's great. It's great stuff because it is excellent stuff for soundproofing, but it's also brilliant for in the summer when it's absolutely roasting hot outside. You go in, it's actually really cool.
Yeah.
So it actually stops the heat. It acts as like an aircon as well. It's amazing stuff, and in the winter it keeps it really warm.
Oh, that's really good.
So it's the bizarrest material, but it really works. Anyway, I'm going.
I'm
about building great building material.
Well, this is what this is about. Is about finding out about all sorts of different people and trying to understand that we're all into the scene, but we all come from different backgrounds. We do different stuff, and it's nice to find out different avenues from people. I know you said earlier you were into. People management, was it?
Yeah, I'm an employment specialist in the local mental health team in the NHS. Yeah, so I love my job. I think it's fantastic. I'm part-time at the minute, but that really suits me and that. But you can do so much. I mean, I was like a social worker by trade. That's what I first did. And then I did a therapy sort of course as well. So, but I love what I'm doing now because it's proper helping people rather than, social work is all about the resources sometimes. So, which is a shame.
So the management of No Tomorrows it fits comfortably around your job. I do a lot of stuff in the 2.5 days that I don't work. So doing the promotional stuff, and I mean I'm finding my feet. I don't even know. I'm not done this. You've never done anything.
No, but I think just having being organised and stuff and then trying to find what's out there because it's frustrating trying to get gigs. And I mean about 10 years ago it's probably easier than it is now.
It's really hard
because I think the pubs just don't have the money to pay bands and the acoustic. They tend to get the acoustic people in and sort of won't cost as much, will it? And tribute bands.
They're kind of you got an acoustic guy, so everyone can turn up and still have a drink and talk with their mates about stuff.
Yeah. So trying to get venues is difficult, isn't it?
Well, I think the band's a festival band kind of thing because you're just banging out. You're banging out big sound.
Anyway. Yeah. But we think about putting on a band night or something. Whether we could do that and then just. Well,
we did. Well, like I said, I did that one at the. Oh God, what's it called?
Rose and Crown.
The Rose and Crown, Rose and Crown venue upstairs is great. And I put on just the guy there just said, "Oh, well, I'll take the money on the buy, and you can have the venue for nothing." Yeah. And upstairs, had a mate, excellent mate. God, what are they called? It's so long ago. They were called The Vow. There was a band called The Vow, and the drummer plays in the Pink Floyd covers band.
Yeah.
An amazing drummer, and the front guy's an amazing guy. I was a rhythm guitarist in his band, so I asked them to come. Had a mate who was also a bit of an acoustic acoustic guy who did great songs and stuff, but it was just so long ago. And then we obviously had a slot, and I think we had someone else, and we ended up with a good crowd of people in there. I mean, people were hearing it, and
sometimes that's the way to do it, isn't
never
it?
charged on the door. I mean, we didn't really make it. We didn't make anything, but it was just to play some music and just But that venue, I mean, I can't understand why people wouldn't do more there. Rose of England is excellent. It's an excellent looking pub. It's located
and that's
brilliantly
just outside the back entrance to the Victoria car park.
Yeah,
I've been up there a few times.
Yeah,
it's handy,
nice.
isn't it?
Yeah.
It's it's a really nice pub. I think it was one of the. It was definitely one of the first I'd been into when I first came into Nottingham on my own, and it was only simply I'd missed my bus to Ollerton, and you have to wait an hour every time for a bus to Ollerton. So I saw the pub and thought, oh well, I'll just pop in there, and it was a nice friendly atmosphere, and that must have been about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So and I went in there recently, and still it was a nice atmosphere.
Yeah.
So I got chatting to a guy at the bar, and I can't remember what he was talking about. He was talking about something about notes in ninths. Because supposedly you go on about all sorts of different note structures.
Is he going on about?
This is the geeky part, but he was going on about.
Sounds a bit like compound signatures, they call them.
Yeah,
I think someone caught me on a thing like saying, what are compound signatures? And I didn't have a clue at the time.
I
went, right, do you know what? I'll go
really. I just play notes how I think they fit.
I think it was something. I think it was more about more beats in the bar. Someone's going to correct me on this and stuff. But that's fair enough. But I think it was like it's kind of like jazz and putting a lot of beats in the bar.
Yeah.
Well, it's quite funny. I mean, that's it. It's preference, isn't it? Of stuff, Yeah. And I mean, my initials were it's a 4/4 rock beat.
Yeah.
With a half time. And someone said, "Is that it?" And I says, "That's my songs completely." We'll go to a half time, and then there'll be a 4/4 rock beat, and that's it. Yeah. And then we'll just go right, and the drummer will go, "Great." And he would just go into it. So, but it's like when I say it to my drummer, then he'll just add a load of jazz, and stuff. But he's brilliant.
I must admit, I struggle to get out of the 4/4 mentality. I have done for years. It was just this. It's how I learned to start with the blues and stuff. I managed to do. I think it was 8 on 16, but this was like at 170, 180 ppm. So you spread it right out.
Yeah.
That was, if people don't know what we're talking about at the moment, it's bars and beats within music. Your 4/4 is 4 beats to the bar.
Bum, bum, yeah, exactly, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you're going up to 170, just get a drum machine, just keep tipping up that tempo, and you'll see you're into breakneck. You're breakneck speed in it, but it's great.
It's like on one of the songs, like Last Day, he starts with like the drum, doesn't it? Like 1, 2, 3, 4 on the drum, isn't it? And then the last day we were having a laugh about that because like the drummer just got straight into it, and then we had a standing bass player, so he was looking around like
he was waiting for the click.
We're waiting for the click.
Starting thing that gets 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the bass player kicks in, and we videoed it, and you just see him.
Funny,
and I said to the drummer afterwards, he was like saying, you watched him go, the bass player went, put his hands on it, and he was like, what is going on here? This was not what we rehearsed, but me and the drummer, we were like nodded at him, and I just went, the drummer's just screwed you over. He screwed you over. Like, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do? And I looked at the drummer just looked at me and went, I'm not bothered. I don't care. And it was obviously just taking the mickey. He wanted to have some fun with the bass player because he's like, he's not my normal bass player.
Yeah.
And I just want to have a laugh with him here. And he's only going to play this gig, so I'm just going to rip him. And I was like, afterwards, he said to him, he's saying, where was the click? Where was the click at the beginning? And he said, I did it. You just didn't notice. You weren't looking. And I just looked at him and went, no, you didn't. You're just taking the piss out of him, basically. And it was very funny. And to this day, he put up like stuff afterwards saying, this is the point where the drummer and the bass player, the drummer and the guitarist, maybe I want to be a bass player, the drummer and the guitarist, completely destroyed my moment.
You've got it on video as well, so it's evidence.
Yeah. And I was like, no, you did it. You just didn't see it.
If that's on YouTube, you're going to have to send me a link, and I'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah, I will.
I've completely forgotten to mention at the beginning, we're sat in the ye old salutation on a Sunday. You managed to get me on a Sunday, so that's quite rare. And actually, I'm on orange juice and lemonade, believe it or not.
Yeah, and I'm on 5.5 IPA, so...
Fair play. But have you thought about using the venue here at some point? Because all you have to do is pay for the sound engineer.
We'd love to, wouldn't we?
We'd love to,
Yeah,
I really like
great.
this. We've come in for drinks here and we love it.
Definitely, I'll introduce you to Sammy if we see him today.
Yeah,
I
that'd
know
be
it was his
great.
Hex night last night, so he's probably not going to be in today, but I'll definitely send you the link. He's the events manager here, and if he can fit you in at some point, and then all you have to do is find some support bands.
I've already got a couple.
Yeah,
I've already got a couple. Yeah, definitely.
It's as easy as that in this
Because
place.
the idea was that. I mean, we enjoyed that Rose of England. The guy, that gig, the guy wanted us to do more, but it was, well, life just gets in the way, doesn't it? Really.
Oh, I know that one.
Yeah.
Like I said before we started, it's like there's so much I've got going on.
I know, yeah. You like to say, I'm going to sort this out this week, and then before you know, it's like a week later. It's just crazy.
So, what compelled you both to be into the alternative scene? If you say you are.
I know, isn't it? Very true.
Well, I suppose I'm like a goth, so my favourite bands are like The Mission and Sister Mercy, and like I started to go out to this alternative club in the 80s called the Silver Sword in Coventry, and it was just a fantastic, it was all blacked out and everything, and I just absolutely loved it. And I used to go to like this spinner disc record shop in the day on a Saturday afternoon, go and buy loads of like Mudhoney and all this lot and Sonic Youth, and then go up like for the night out, and everyone used to like gather outside afterwards, like they just didn't want to go home. We all just like, knew everyone, and we just sat and chatted, and it's just a great scene, really. I've always loved it.
Because you were talking about, you were wondering when the next Spellbound was on.
Yeah, definitely.
That's the goth night here at the Salutation. So as Jake said, it's every 3 months, I believe.
3 months.
So,
why
but it's
does
huge.
it take so long though? Because is it just putting it on? Is it? Or?
I honestly don't know. I'm not a goth myself.
I tried to teach you like the goth dance, the sisters and everything.
You do still. But it's quite funny actually, when I said Diesel at the bar, the guy said, she must be a goth. I was like, yeah, no.
Was that Nikki with the green hair?
Diesel. I said, she said Diesel. Yeah. So there you go.
So what compelled you?
Well, playing guitar for years, you're just playing guitar and just playing stuff that parents would sort of say, oh, maybe you should play this, play that, And then, strangely enough, it kind of hit me like a ton of bricks, really, when I heard Mudhoney, Dinosaur Jr. I kind of liked Sonic Youth, but then I liked it when Nirvana was supporting Sonic Youth, because then Nirvana strode on. I
was just going to say the song Sunday is my favourite Sonic Youth song. I love that chord progression. It's awesome.
They're erratic and wild. And I just thought, for years it was kind of a straight kind of structure of things, and you can knock out House of the Rising Sun or Hotel California and stuff like that, and it's all very. But seeing that, it just drove me crazy. I was just like, I'm absolutely into this. Strange thing was, though, I was in my 20s at the time, and I'd done a bunch of bands before, and we'd done that kind of music and this and that, but it was kind of like that hit me like a ton of bricks. But the problem was I was actually in the army at the time, and I thought, Christ, how do I get out of the army and try to go and get a band together and get out into the world and stuff, because this is doing it. And I was playing with a band, there were a covers band on camp in Germany where I was. 21 years old, I was like, oh no, I've just joined the army. But I loved it. I loved it at the same time. Eventually, I did my few years. I got out and stuff. And and that was kind of the mission after that. I just kind of thought, I'm blown to bits by this. This is where I want to go, But
so you're probably the most organised band at getting in and out of a venue if you've been in the army.
If there's any trouble, we can talk a way out of a situation.
Hurry up and wait.
Exactly, isn't it? We're not, we've got enough muscle, but it's just sort of, but it was just that it absolutely blew me to bits that there was this more alternative, you didn't have to be that good looking, that amazing, and all the rest of it. I was sitting there watching Stone Temple Pilots and things, and I was just blown to bits, absolutely blown to bits. I know they're kind of the commercial end of it, but it just, I don't know, it just really hit me. And then I started to play my guitar differently, and I wanted to detune the hell out of my guitar, and then in detuning I ended up playing slide blues, and then got into Raikuda, and then someone said, oh, listen to this, and then I listened to a band called Slint, and they did
Never heard of that.
No, it's a band called Slint. They did an album called Spiderland, which
Yeah.
is incredibly alternative. The usual stuff, Pixies. But Slint, I still listen to that album every so often. Jane's Addiction, obviously. And it just went on and on and on, really. You know.
Yeah.
Therapy.
It's got to have therapy. But it's just like, you know, just blown to bits by it. And I just thought, why did this not happen sooner? You know, I just thought, but I mean, I suppose it did. I mean, you've got, oh Christ!
Just means you won't stop now.
I think of Iggy Pop. You know, One Night Out in LA. We covered that one time, and it's just an amazing song to play. Bass player wanted to play it, but I've just been so lucky. I met these great musicians, and obviously. You've got the albums and the music that you bought and the taste that you had and stuff. And in meeting these different musicians, they kind of taught me something. I learned something from these different musicians that would come and would have a great time and then break up. And I'm like, so sad that the shit of life just got in the way and we got to break up. Yeah. And I'm like, let's just keep doing it until you can get on your Zimmer frame and sit. At least we can play a sit down gig or something, you know. But I was like, I was so. You know, I love music so much, but I listen to other people and they say, "Oh, listen to this," you know, or see an interview. It's like listening. Faith No More, one of the funniest interviews I've seen. Faith No More. He's like sitting there, and MTV are interviewing, and he goes, "Well, what do you think about mainstream music?" He's eating a burger at the time, just like laughing, and he's not even interested in the interview because he's chewing on food, you know, of MTV, and saying the album, the bands he was saying were absolute thrash. They seemed like absolute thrash.
Just like Godflesh, I think.
Godflesh, and we checked him out, and it's like, you know, I mean. It's just seeing bands like War and things like that. You're going, yes, more blood, you know, and just.
I get confused with Godflesh and is it Godflesh Apocalypse or Flesh? There's a really dark black metal band that has Apocalypse at the end. I know that, and I saw the start of the band's name. I'm blanking now on the band's name. I'm going to have to look this up during the break and come back to you on this one. And all my black metal friends now are cursing me down to the earth. But I went to go and watch them at Bloodstock and it was completely the wrong band. I'm like, stood there in a tent like, what sort of music is this?
But I love that it's that adventure to go and check them out, to go and find them. And I love playing live because of the bands that are there. You sit there and turn up at a venue, you set up and you've been invited to go and play. They've kind of agreed a price or whatever, and you go, great, you know, it's great to get paid. And then, you know, I find it amazing to get paid, actually.
Yeah, we did the gig at the Wollerton Pub and Kitchen. It was the first gig that we did, wasn't it? And it was on Bank Holiday Monday, so nobody was there, basically, just us and a couple of people.
I always say about pubs, you're just putting people off their pint if you go and smash it and stuff. I wasn't really expecting this, you know what I mean, with my beer and my pork pie or whatever. But it's like, it's like, you know, it's like a donkey with a cow's head stuck on it kind of gig. I kind of go, this is not right. But then the management want you to go there and play it, you go and play it, you know.
Yeah, they enjoyed it. The bar staff enjoyed it, didn't they?
Yeah.
And then you should think of getting hold of Bob up the Tap and Tumbler.
Oh, yeah.
Tap and Tumbler,
we really
definitely.
want to Tap.
I think everybody wants to play there, but now he's actually had to stop taking bookings last time he told me.
No, the Tap and Tumbler is
everyone
great.
wants to play there.
We had our first date.
We had our first date at the Tap and Tumbler.
All right, tell me more.
That's great. Well, on the Thursday we were meant to meet down here at the Sal, and then he stood me up, didn't he? And I thought, that's it. I thought, right, I'm not giving this fella another chance, right? So, like the next day, I was in my pajamas, basically watching TV and stuff. And then he said, then he got back in touch. He said, "Do you want to go out tonight? Go down the Tap?" I said, "No, but I said the Tap, didn't I?" I said, "Yeah, let's." I said, "Oh well, he said the Tap, so we'll go down the Tap." And there was this awesome band, weren't there?
They were amazing.
They were absolutely. I don't even know what the name of them was, but they were like a covers. Well, they did some covers.
They did let the bodies hit the floor.
Let the bodies hit the floor. Yeah, that was.
And he was walking around with a radio mic, and it was literally big handshakes, big high. He was doing all the big.
It's amazing. There was this guy in there that looked like Lemmy, with his like cowboy hat and everything.
It was a cowboy there. It was amazing, dressed in black, had the waistcoat and everything, just without the gun. And I was like going, the beard and everything, And I was just.
I think I know who you mean, and I'm blanking on his name now.
It looked awesome.
I
I was like, what a guy, what a character, and he's there just doing the whole. It was down the posturing and everything, and I was like, put this guy in a film. It's amazing.
Yeah.
The characters, the place, the music. Yeah, it was a brilliant night.
First date, wasn't it?
It was an excellent first date. So yeah, that's right.
Okay, can I ask you the next question? Well, the last question for this section, and we're going to have a break because I think it's time to actually have a pint. It's warm outside, and I keep telling people to stay hydrated.
Yeah.
But if you can answer individually, primarily the band with you, Baz, and then your management of the band.
Yeah.
So I'll start with you, Tracey. What hurdles did you personally face, and how did you overcome them with taking on this responsibility?
Yeah, I think there's such a volume of work you have to do, and I think it's like not really knowing, how to get in contact with people and stuff. Because what I did was I emailed loads of pubs and venues in Nottingham, and I didn't hear anything back from them. I sent an email, they didn't even say, we can't book you or something like that. So that's really frustrating, and I kind of think that I'm not doing my bit for the band. You know what I mean? And you kind of try and look at different ways of doing it, and so I think what we're going to do as well is try and get the uni and sort of see whether societies might book them as a band and stuff like that. Maybe try that avenue, because again it's like I think we probably missed the festival bit as well, because so we're trying to get these festivals. But the good thing is we're playing the Green Festival in September through that competition, so I was pretty proud of that.
Which festival's that? Sorry,
it's the Nottingham Green Festival. I think it's in the Arboretum at the Battle of the Bandstands.
Oh right,
really nice.
So I got him into the maze to do and then we got to the Rough Trade as well. So that was like a real achievement, wasn't it, to get through to that. And then we've got the gig in the. So it's getting publicity, and I find that's the hardest thing.
Yeah.
It was nice to play the maze as well. I think I played there in 2008. I loved the maze.
Yeah, it's a sad lot.
I just found it. I couldn't believe it.
I think this is going to be one of the biggest topics of the podcasts for the next month or so.
Bring back the maze. Because it was there for bands, and it was there for bands when, they've got video stuff on, MySpace? Video stuff, and I look like a beanpole. I'm just like,
because you played it 10 years ago.
Yeah, I know, and it's great. It's a fantastic venue, and the sound guy's great. And but we did have a few years ago. We did play there, and just to play there recently. I just thought it still sounds great. Real party atmosphere. Loved it. So
go on then. Bring him back. Come back.
Yeah, I know, isn't it? Yeah. You could probably say one of the most difficult things is trying to get this guy's mind under control, because he's racing like a dog in a field.
Definitely, brown Labrador.
How are you finding advertising with the social media sites?
Do you know what? I'm still trying to work out Twitter. I've been able to put quite a few things on Twitter. Do you know what I mean? I don't know how to I suppose if you retweet things, it goes to a bigger audience. But what was great, what I noticed was that Manson are actually following us on Twitter. And, and I looked at wow, that's really
Manson,
good, isn't it?
Good
Yeah, so shout out to them. And then Facebook's pretty good for, so I like the social media side of it, because I'll put the photos and the videos on. But I'd like to be able to go to a gig where I don't have to video and I can dance, because I'm jumping about, trying to sing to the song. The videos going all over the place. So that's a bit of a nightmare. But advertising and doing the graphics as well, because you got the graphic, then I was doing a little printer. So we're trying to do it ourselves, because we got this printer from a charity shop, which is £10, and stupidly enough, we thought we could print CDs. And then our good friend Tony,
it's the enthusiasm of trying to do it all yourself.
Yeah, he's a big biker guy, and he's absolutely brilliant, and he's really helped us out to do the graphic on this CD that we've got now on the EP, isn't it? He's done so much for us, hasn't he? And he just he took care of all of that, which I was quite glad to hand that over, because I was really struggling with the graphics and stuff, and getting on that that paint thing, where
Photoshop.
If you don't do it right, you have to keep going out of it all the time, so that did my head in.
But I'm glad to hear you haven't given up at the first hurdle.
Yeah.
So Baz, what hurdles have you personally faced with the band, and how have you overcome them?
It was just trying to get good musicians together and people that wanted to do it.
The drummer.
Well, the drummer, yeah. the drummer.
Oh, you just made it downbeat, haven't you?
What can we? Well, no, I'm not having a crack at drummers because I think it's the personalities really, and the biggest problem you've got is if mutually you kind of are going to do your job, and that's what you're going to do.
Yeah,
it's kind of like, I respect every musician wants to sort of, you'll get them, they want to do the thing. You'll get the drummer who wants to have the mic on and everything like that. And I kind of say, if we had more time, I mean, it's great. Someone pipes up and goes, I want to do the backing vocals. I mean, and on tracks I've done the backing vocals because I kind of know how I want it. You know? And then I say, I can do the backing vocals. And then it just sounds like they're playing it like they're smashing their instrument. And I'm like, it's not that. It's something else. It needs to be worked on. The problem you've got is we're all working people and you've got constraints because you've got to go and do a full-time job and you come back and you've got a couple of hours to do some music or do the art or the stuff that you want.
Yeah.
Everyone's ambitious and I respect that. They go, we've got some songs here we can do. This guy... It's like ego, isn't it? I don't do ego and I hate it and I can't stand politics, band politics and just sort of people saying, I've got an issue with this or that and stuff. And it's like not an issue with anything. It's just like, here's the songs. We're running out of time. Let's just do them. If people stand up and clap and if anyone dances, I'm amazed, which when someone does dance, it's great. But it's just like...
makes it worthwhile.
Get behind an idea. If someone goes like, I've sorted this out, we can do this. We've got like 2 or 3 hours worth of music here. If we get through it and see what we think. And just work together. Work together and, and trust that somebody's sort of said, I'm gonna go for it. I'm going to spear and stuff, and we're going to do it, and play for the song. Play for the idea. Don't be Joe Satriani on bass and crank everything louder than everyone else because nobody wants to hear one person or the drummer. And I've met some amazing musicians. He wants to be Stuart Copeland, so he wants to do Stuart Copeland all over the songs. Play for the song. Because that's what people want to see and hear. The song as a whole thing, together, as a band, sharing that moment together.
Which I think the band does do now, but I think like in the past you had a problem like with the extra because he said he went off to Australia, didn't he? And the band broke up because he wanted to do some competition or something,
we were going to do a showcase for Sony. There was we got a chance to do a showcase, a band thing for Sony in Australia of all places. So like we couldn't go any more bloody further than England than you could have really.
No, not really.
No, exactly. It was a bit ridiculous. So can we drop everything and go to Australia? And I was like, well, not really, because of all that's the thing. You're living lives. You still got to like get on with your life. It's what I always say to the guys. It's like, what we talk about. Not me just saying it to it. If it's playing every single gig or every chance you can get. You want to do it, but if you can't do it, you can't do it. Because you still got to go and earn money. And you still need to...
Still need to fund it somehow.
You still need to do life, don't you? As opposed to, do your art and stuff.
I think that's a big thing as well, because really like there is a chance, because we've put out an EP, but it's the songs recorded with the previous band, because like we've not had the funds to be able to get it. There's a guy who could go down in London to get... It's £360, hire the recording studio, get it mastered and everything. So what you want to do is do a proper rocked up album, a rock up version of all the songs, isn't it? Because this was 10 years ago.
We've got demos of so long ago and stuff, and obviously I wouldn't say political really, but the guys want to get in on the recordings. But when you're only rehearsing 2 hours a week, what you've got is 2 hours a week, and we can go out and hit a show. And that's what we've got. And then if we get to the point where we can record it as a complete band, it'll be great now. It'll be great because the band is so good, and I don't know. I mean, that's it. It's just that thing, isn't it? I think it's the same for most bands, really. That they get somebody that that everybody wants something from it, but it's just to do it together and not destroy it. Because of one individual.
You will eventually. It's just getting the funds together, isn't it? I think like I was reading about something about the band promoters and stuff. They're finding it really difficult, because I thought maybe it'd be better if we got a band promoter that had contacts and stuff. Maybe that would make it easier.
But if the venues struggle themselves, and
that's what I'm saying. Like the
they need people to buy drinks.
You might want to speak to Martin Dunning from Bespoke Media PR. for
right,
PR Media. I'll give you his details in a bit.
Yeah.
He works out of Stoke-on-Trent. I'm going to try and get him in to do a podcast at some point because I can't find anyone else that specialises with what he does. But I got to know him through the band Midnight City, which they are just about to go off to Tokyo, I believe.
Nice.
Really?
There's a good audience.
So he also works with Eagles vs Drones, which is a really good rock band as well.
Right.
So I'm going to bring this half to a close. But since you've just given me the CD, and I always play a song in the middle of it, which song do you suggest I play now?
Should we say, what do you want to pick? Well, you're sure, Baz.
Pick anything you like. I don't know.
Come on, mention one.
I mean, my favourite is Last Day because it's about hating on getting up to go to work, which I think everyone can.
And that's called Last Day?
Yeah.
Okay, then.
Giving up work,
About giving up work is very
Really,
significant,
So, okay, we're going for a break. This song on now is from No Tomorrows, and it's called Last Day.
As much as enjoying this podcast on YouTube is brilliant, if you want to listen to the music, you're going to have to listen to it on a podcast player. Sorry.
No, you're definitely not that, darling.
Oh, I think you're, second anniversary, your 21st? I can be charming at times. Right, welcome back. I really hope you enjoyed that song as suggested by Tracey. So we're here today with No Tomorrows lead singer and guitarist and their manager Tracey. So who has taken on the role of basically promoting a band. It's not an easy task, as you would have heard in the first part. So this section is Not Some Rock. So the first question I like to ask is, what do you love and enjoy about Nottingham as a city, not so much the alternative scene?
Oh no, me, I love the restaurants. I like Hockley.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
I'll say Hockley. Yeah, I mean, I didn't really know. Again, it's people showing me stuff, and it's nice that people sort of go, oh, you might like this. And I kind of go, well, I'm really grateful that you think I might like it. And then I got taken out into Hockley and they show me around these places and I'm absolutely blown to bits. And I just think, I'm definitely go out, meal and pubs and that kind of stuff. And Jam Cafe. Then it ends at the Jam Cafe.
Right. I haven't been up there yet.
Jam Cafe's great.
Yeah.
And then some musicians come up and they're playing their own thing.
Yeah.
The stage is very small, but it's still totally cool. My bass player last rehearsal was saying that he's going to try and set up a gig for us to play the Jam Cafe, and I said I would love to play there. Love the Jam Cafe. So I love the fact that there's fantastic sort of cafe-style restaurants in the evening that are really rustic. Some of them are quite rustic, and the food is fantastic, and the ale's absolutely brilliant. Then it ends at the Jam Cafe. We probably should start at the Jam Cafe, I say, and end at the Jam Cafe.
Yeah, we'll tell him what you did at the Jam.
But it ended one night at the Jam Cafe.
First night down the Jam Cafe.
First night, and I was like, this is great. And then the guy goes, anyone playing? And I put my name on the list, but I was pretty much cut up by the alcohol by that time. And I went,
I've been in the Dragon.
I'll play. I'll come and play. Yeah, I'll play a song. And then it was, I think it was a bit of bravado and me not actually realising how drunk I was. And then... But it got a few laughs, I think, because I got up and played a song called 9 Days.
Yeah.
And then I think through the song while I was playing it, I kind of come over the mic going, maybe this is a bit more complicated when you've drunk too much, actually. And it kind of played. I did play it to the end and stuff, but kind of velocity of how you're hitting things goes out the window a bit. And got to the end and I said, well, hopefully that was okay, but I think I am actually really drunk, so I'm very sorry. But
I recorded it and showed it him back, as you do as a good manager.
yeah. Don't do that again. But, it was great fun. And
I fall foul of that. Every time I go to Good Times, Fun Times karaoke, I fall foul of being drunk, getting up, thinking I can sing like the stars, and someone's always recording it.
Yeah.
And the last time I got up was with a chap, Phil Core, who's actually was on the last interviewed podcast, chatted podcast. I keep saying interview, it annoys me. But he turned around and said, I watched it back and and it was atrocious. And I was like, I'm glad I embarrassed you and really embarrassed myself at the time.
That's really good.
But just to put one more thing across, on my Gmail account and my Google account, there's a picture of me with an acoustic guitar. And like you were saying, I had turned up to an open mic night at the Tap and Tumbler, and I'd had a bit too much and tried to play some of my old songs. And honestly, I have not sung live apart from karaoke to this day, and I never will do again.
That's great.
The most I'm recording my voice is in this podcast.
Why did you think, I could do anything? Doesn't matter, guys,
that's the problem. When you've recorded so much, you've played so much over the years, you think, I can kill this. I can kill it. Because you feel so overly confident. And then you have a drink, and then you go, no, I'm a fool. I'm an absolute idiot. And it's just like, don't think you can just get up and do anything because you played loads of gigs and you just, and you're
But I swear in the stage monitors, I'm sure there's an MSB1 Boss pedal that they put on there, which is make sound better 1.
This is a drunk person.
Why do I keep thinking, what is it? An OD1. Is it OD1 Boss pedal? It's an orange thing, is it? No,
Overdrive.
Yeah. Like, you think it'll make you sound good every time you hit on it, and then when you actually get back to the recordings, no, it's the player, not the pedal. And then
it is definitely it's a hard thing to get across to someone, and you owning a studio in the past and actually been in the recording process. It's hard to tell people when they say, can you make me sound like this? Can you make me sound like that? And I have to ask the question, do you sound like that?
Yeah, exactly.
So would you agree with that statement?
I absolutely agree with it. And actually, it's strange. I'll as a point of reference, I go back to Johnny from Pitch Shifter. When we turned up at his, I had this guitar. He looked at it and went, no. Put it to one side. He literally just took my guitar and went, you can forget
Was
that.
it an encore?
I don't know. What was it? Actually, what was it? I think it was something like I think it was a Fender Strat with a Slinky Bucker in it or something like that.
Oh, right.
Which is not good, really. I mean, it wasn't that great. I mean, I know, and I think the playing sound is in the ear of the person playing it. I mean, you can have a massive pedals, but what are you going to do with them? He literally handed me Gibson Les Paul that was like a 1971 or 1970, and we had to do takes on it, and we had to stop and retune it because it was going out of tune loads. It was a warm day and stuff, but he literally just said, what are your settings and what's this, what do you want? I said, that was the great thing. He said, what do you want? We want a massive sound, we want huge guitars, massive riffs. And he said, right, that toy, get rid of that. This is what you want. And you just trusted the engineer. You trusted the guy that knew and stuff. And that's what it is. It's like, but what I love about it is keep your settings basic. You don't have loads of pedals. I had a fuzz face and a big muff and all that kind of stuff. I think it's an OD1 thing, and loads and loads of pedals. Now, I just use the switching on the guitar. I've gone from all those pedals, spending all that money.
So you're just direct to amp now?
Direct to amp. And then just turn up the gain, turn down the gain, put a bit of reverb on maybe, and it's the switching and the guitar. I mean, and in my pickups, that's it. I went from all those pedals to no pedal, and the only pedal I use now is a guitar tuner.
Oh, cool. What guitar do you primarily play now then?
It's like a 1980 Westbury.
Right.
So it's a British-made guitar. And I actually bought it for 50 quid from a second-hand pawn shop. Yeah, pawn shop. Not a pawn shop, but second-hand shop. Got to be careful how I say that.
I don't think... Actually, I think that one relates to most of the world. I know that they call it Pawn Stars, where they're in the pawn shop in America.
But I only said that every time because it was called the pawn shop. And then we walked in and went, Brighton's
sexy
a bit of...
guitar.
Sexy guitar. But it was like 50 quid, and it's got a Damasio in the back end, pickup in the back, and it's got Seymour Duncan in the neck.
Oh wow!
And I had a guy. Yeah, I know those pickups are awesome, and Damasios are amazing pickups, and the old ones are amazing. And I sanded it down. I messed around with lacquers that went over it. It just looks wooden now. That's it.
Yeah.
had a guy, who builds guitars. Steve Laveau. His name's Steve Laveau, and he's out near Laos. I think he's got workshops out near Laos. I don't even know if he's still alive.
All right.
But he used to make what are the French-style jazz guitars, the Maccaferis.
Oh, right.
He makes Maccaferi-style guitars, which were built for volume because they don't. And he plugged it in, and he said it was like literally made my lights. He said it made my lights twitch when I plugged it in and hit it. So because he said it was probably one of the loudest pickups that he's had.
That's nice.
And I was like, it was great to hear that. But I mean, I was so young then. I just went, that looks like a sexy guitar. It's a solid bodied guitar. People say, is that Gibson? No. It's a Westbury. Westbury are great guitars.
I said that in my intro. I think it was my introduction podcast that I went through secondary school with quite some cheap guitars, and a friend had this Washburn. It's a GV8
Washburn,
and I honestly fell in love with watching that guitar being played. That I really wanted it. It was only towards our last few months in secondary school that my friend went, I'm not enjoying playing this guitar anymore, do you want to buy it? And I have now had it for just shy of 18 years.
That's great, isn't it?
And I love it, and I've replaced a pickup in it. I've got rid of the centre pickup because I found I was never using it.
Yeah.
So because I play really low tunings in D and C, there was no need for a spring, for 3 springs. So I took one of the springs out and mounted it where the pickup should be.
All right.
So like people, I remember, I can't remember which band it was, but someone had done the same. And I even got asked the question. It was like, oh, has that got onboard reverb? And I was like, no, I've just mounted the spring so I don't lose it. But I understand what you mean, and I think I paid £60 for it, and it's still the most beautiful guitar I've got. The only thing is, I must get it refretted.
Yeah, wearing of the frets, wearing of the pins. Yeah,
definitely.
And I think it's in there. It is. It's a love thing, isn't it? And then it's in the mind of the player. It's in the mind of the person. And I mean, we try so many guitars. I do remember that one had other guitars, but all the other guitars went away, and this last guitar, this Westbury, was the one that stayed.
It's like a real grungy sound, isn't it? It's like really heavy,
It's got a massive attack on it.
Yeah.
And it's sort of...
sustain.
That's it. See, but it ends up a gain thing as well. It's kind of like you want it a bit more ballady. You turn the gain down, turn that gain down. But then, you can just crank it, and... it's like tracks like back end of the first set, a track called Step Off a Star. You turn everything down because there's more picking melody in it. There's more picking melody, and you want to hear that. But then when you want to play something like Pretend Friend, it's riff based anyway. So you want massive riffs and stuff. So I mean, it's just keeping it massively simple. I wanted to get really complicated with tap dancing with pedals, but I just realised for me it wasn't about that. It was about, you kind of just say that ridiculous thing, it's either loud, quiet, or louder. And it just ended up being that, and I just kept things so basic.
I love to hear that, I really do. I think there's a lot of guitarists out there that probably could take a pinch out of your ethos with that, because some people come on stage with masses of pedals and they'll spend half an hour trying to get on stage because one of their pedals has come loose. Right, I'm going to move on to the next question, seeing as we've just had a really good banter, and I'm going to ask Tracey the next question because I'd like her to talk a bit more. All right, if you want.
Sure.
Right, is it okay?
Yeah, of course it is.
I've actually got to leave the interview because the IPA is getting to me. But sorry about this. Sorry.
Tracey, would you like to tell us a myth about Notts or something locally interesting that you've learned since you've been here?
Well, I found out that Batman lives at Woollerton Hall.
Batman, oh yes.
Yeah, well, I'm from Woollerton, and like we went to see the open air cinema and stuff like that. Yeah. And like at the end, it was really funny because they had Batman come onto the balcony at Woollerton Hall.
Oh right.
That was really good.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I must admit, when someone explained that and I saw Woollerton Hall for the first time, straight away it was like, wow.
Yeah.
And then I think it was a couple of days after I saw a bus for Gotham.
and thought it said Gotham.
Well, yeah, I always think it's Gotham as well. That's how I would say it.
So I'm going to ask you the next question because he'll keep talking, I think.
Yeah.
He's going to hear this back and go.
Brown Labrador.
What is your most favourite part of Notts or Nottinghamshire?
Well, I really like the history because I used to work at the Galleries of Justice, like, you know, in the offices that's like next door to them. Yeah, and like there was a lot of history, because that's where they said like Nottingham started from, like Lord Snot apparently.
Yes.
So, like, I've gone on the ghost tours and stuff like that, and I've also had some experiences like working in the museum as well. And so like I went on the ghost tour after I'd been to the beer festival, so I was down in the caves by myself, you know, well people as well, but you know, so I was like not that scared because I'd had a few beers. But yeah, I've had some really good experiences there. So I love all the history of Nottingham and Nottingham Castle and medieval and the caves and stuff like that.
Cool. Have you seen the caves here in the south?
Yeah, we've been down. We were on the ghost tour. We went right, and it just keeps going down, doesn't it? And you're thinking it's never going to end. You think, how far down can it go?
Great.
It's only about 3 floors.
Yeah, it seems like forever.
It is quite a long way down.
Yeah, and they're meant to have, like, I was telling Baz that me and my sister came down here once. We're sitting in this room, and we had a bit of an experience because they were talking about the little girl ghost, apparently, Rosie. Yeah. And me and my sister were just sitting, and this beer mat suddenly just moved, and the both of us went at the same time. We went, "Did you see that?" As you do, you know, like in that Most Haunted programme.
Well, I'll say this now. I really hope she doesn't mind that I do my chats here, because I haven't felt anything yet, and I'm one of these people, especially with ghosts. I'm a little bit skeptical because I haven't seen or felt anything that has really
I'm a bit
pushed me to
You're
believe.
the same. Yeah, you're the same as well, aren't you?
Yeah, we're in a place we played years, Old Nick's Tavern in Horncastle.
Yeah,
Old Nick's Tavern. It's a very old place, but yeah. But I used to. Well, that's where I used to hang out and drink. I was 18. No, 16. No, I wasn't.
Yeah.
I was 18. You probably cut that one, but it's like. That's
fine.
It's when we used to hang around the rockabilly crowd, so we were all rockabillys back then.
Oh, wow.
I used to go to Hemsby Rock and Roll doing stuff.
Yeah.
But we sat in there recently, didn't we? And you were saying there was all kinds of stuff. And I kind of sat there and ridiculed it.
He was laughing.
She wasn't happy with me at that time. So I was like, this is a bunch of crap. Come on.
As well.
But I can't, you know, I shouldn't say that. I'm not saying it isn't. But I love the idea of it.
Yeah.
I love the idea of it. And I love, the idea of it.
We can't disprove it. That's the thing. You can't prove it. You can't disprove it. So, do you know what I mean? So.
Yeah. I mean, Tony, my mate, he did a thing for Amazon. What was it? It's not
YouTube.
Ghost.
It's on YouTube.
Was it on YouTube?
Yeah.
But I think he was involved in Amazon. With that.
Like a Most Haunted kind of thing. You know what I mean? They go to this like, they put this Lincoln Asylum or something. They were up there doing something. But that was, I mean, I've been on a few overnighters and things like that. And I think we came on the, down here, we came on, the Robin Hood tour that he takes you all around for 3 hours. We've been on that and everything. So, I love all of that in Nottingham. That's what I really enjoy.
You've got to have some endurance.
That reminds me, I really must get in contact with him because I'd like to get him on the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
I think definitely learning about all the ghosts and
it's really interesting.
What he does.
No, do you mean Tony or do you mean the Robin Hood guy?
I'm definitely going to get Tony on. I have spoken with Tony, but the guy who does the ghost walk as well.
Yeah, great.
I think that's definitely something.
That'd be great to hear that. Yeah.
So Baz, what's your most favourite part of Notts or Nottinghamshire?
Well, most favourite part of Nottinghamshire.
Oh, I know. So I should interrupt. No, you say it.
Well, we're not going back to the.
Well, you know he can have his opinion when you make your mind up.
I know, isn't it? It's like the manager puppet master. You can see. Yeah, it's a one-track sort of brown Labrador mind. You know, if it's music, I'm running towards the stage, put the guitar on, do the thing. That's it. That's what I live for. But it's like, well, I would say, I mean. I know it. Everyone's going to go, oh, what? You know, but I really like the Legion at Woollerton. The Legion, you know, the British Legion.
Oh, right.
Yeah, being ex-services and stuff.
I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, you're sitting there and you meet some people. You meet there are some characters in there and stuff. I mean, you go to gigs and stuff like that, and I've met some amazing people over the years and some real characters. But to sit at at the pub club that you're in and stuff.
It's a nice little
and because of being ex-services, you can't help that now. I did my time and I really loved it. And I did have a good time, but I just wanted to escape and join bands and go and play gigs and stuff. So yeah, marching around camp and stuff was,
But I suppose that's quite nice, you saying about the Legion.
Yeah, the Legion's a great thing.
If you put so much time into music, you need your escapism.
Yeah, it's another thing. And you'll sit and talk to somebody there, or they'll sort of ask what regiment you were in and what you did and what you were into and stuff like that. I love that. It's kind of
proud,
for me. I'm very proud because I'm very British.
Which regiment were you in?
I was in 14 Signal Regiment.
Oh, right.
And that was in Osnabrück, Germany.
Yeah.
Excellent beer in Germany. I would say best beer in the world is German beer anyway. Yeah, and and it was a good life. It's a great life. I'd advise anyone. My parents kind of decided it. I did that engineering, and they could see I was a bit kind of, he's doing all this, wants to join bands and play music, it's all good and stuff like that, but he's kind of like not very grounded and everything. And then they kind of advised it, and it was hilarious what they said: someone else will pay for the beer. And I looked at them and went, oh, that sounds good. And then that was it, so then and then literally went to Catterick, did the training. But yeah, for me, the Legion at Woollerton it's a very respectable place. It's lovely surroundings. Everyone's really nice and and
affordable alcohol.
And a very affordable, you get a very affordable Jameson's whiskey there, so it's very good. So I'm not sure without sounding like a complete alcoholic, but I'm just sort of, but music has a fantastic, music and alcohol have a fantastic way of putting an idea together.
I said on the podcast the other week, I'm a responsible drinker because I haven't spilt a drop.
Yeah.
Even though Jay from here will probably tell you otherwise.
A barman will always say.
Okay, I'm going to ask you the next question, which is a bit of a hypothetical question, so I will have to read it. Sorry if I'm looking down.
No worries.
A person gets off a train or bus, then checks into their hotel, then goes to, we'll stay here because we're in the salutation.
Yeah.
Comes into the salutation and asks you to, I've never been to Nottingham before. Where is the one place you recommend I check out next? After he finishes or she finishes her pint.
I think I'd recommend they stay here. Yeah, exactly, because it's such a great place. I think you don't want to leave really at the end of the day.
But I really like Hockley. Is it Hockley and the boiler?
The Boilermaker.
Boilermaker.
Yeah.
And we don't want to give away what the Boilermaker is and stuff, but when someone showed me around there and sort of said, we're going to go to this great club.
Yeah.
Without giving anything away, I kind of stood at the door and went, what the heck is this? And then it was kind of like, what is this?
You meant this is a taxi, right? And the band plays along with it.
I know. I was
taxis outside.
But it was the fact that when I got in there afterwards, I kind of thought of what he was saying. I was like, he was totally playing into the theatre of this whole place. And I thought, this is pretty cool. I love that. I love it where it's kind of like, I love that surreal. This is what you get on the face, and then when the curtain goes down, this is what you kind of get. Or as you get in further somewhere, you go, this is so much more than what I thought it was. And the fact that the menus and what they were asking whiskey-wise and what you were looking at drinks-wise, it was so, it was comprehensive. I thought it was really good. I had a great time. So I would say that.
Cool. Okay. At both of you, because this doesn't have to be an instrument, but what is your most treasured musical object?
You can go first. I have to think about this.
I would,
And you put the questions out on the table, so I thought you were going to be prepared.
No, we're just like...
I was expecting no.
We're just doing off the top of the head here. We're just like, go.
No, I like that.
I would say it's my Westbury, it's my guitar.
Yeah.
And that never used to be, but I think as time's gone on, and now I've met more musicians and rehearsed and stuff, and I've got some friends that are amazing guitarists. There's a guy called Steve Waller.
Yeah.
He lives in a place called Woodall. Well, I don't want to give it away, but he's in Lincolnshire anyway. Lovely part of Lincolnshire.
Yeah.
In a spa town. Bit of a wood hall, but we won't give it away. But he's an excellent musician. He come and stood in to play bass recently at a gig, and he's a real virtuoso.
Yeah.
And I just sort of say, how many strings do you want to hit? And he says, because I don't have a drummer or a bass player. And he's amazing. He picked up my guitar, plugged it into my amp. in his studio that he's had built recently on the back of his place, and he said, "This is probably the best guitar I've ever played." And I said, "That's a hell of a compliment." Because how good he is. I mean, and we've known each other since I was 16, but he was like the older brother that could always play better than me. The bastard. Anyway, never mind. But it's just like, and he can still absolutely rag me. I can only play bass. Yeah. When I'm with him, I'm like, I'm not joining on guitar. I'll play bass.
I've had a few friends tell me how good I'm on guitar. And the ones that tell me how good I am, I literally, no word of a lie, think they are 100 times better than me. I don't class myself as a good guitarist. I just say I can play. And what I play is what I've learned myself. So if I want to play something one way, I'm not going to let anyone tell me that I'm doing it wrong.
No.
Because there's no such thing as wrong, is there?
Yeah, it's like, you know, like that's being expressed in your musical, isn't it? You know, your creative talent and stuff like that. It's what it means to you, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it took a long time to not torture. To not torture yourself over things. Because
I think that's what a lot of people do.
They do.
Yourself,
they kind of go, this could be so much more. And I did reach a point in time where I was like, I'm sorry, but that's the song.
Yeah.
We're not pulling this apart now. That's the end of it. That's done. Get on. Next song. And it ends up that thing, next song.
Yeah.
And that's the way it should be. But you do go through that where... But Steve will always be like amazing, and I'm like, but he is. He came round and was doing the bass, and he's going crazy. And I just said to him, "You got to slow down, man. You can't play the whole fretboard. There isn't a need. Just do the song.
That's rein him in.
Not for the song you've written anyway.
Because he's like a black Labrador and he's a brown Labrador. I'm a golden retriever.
Stop shredding bass. You don't need to shred bass. Come on.
So have you thought of your musical object?
Yeah, and actually it's really funny because one time I went to Beeston, I went to the Sue Ryder shop, and I've always wanted to learn the piano because my dad used to teach me, like, you know, way back when and everything. And I've always wanted one, and I saw this piano for like 50 quid, and like I was meeting up with my mum. My mum would normally say she'd police me on things because making these, you know, crazy purchases. And then so I went in and said, I went to meet my mum later, and I said, I've bought a piano for 50 quid, and I got it back to the house and everything. And it's like one of them old Western pianos, you know what I mean?
Right, country bar.
It kept going out of tune all the time. But I couldn't part with it because I really loved it because it was a proper piano, do you know what I mean? And I love the sound of it and everything.
I must admit, they sound better when they slightly are out of tune as well.
Yeah, it probably is because like I called it Percy because I got
called it Percy?
I called it Percy because I got attached to it.
Oh, brilliant.
and then we had to get, you were saying, well, I can't keep tuning it up all the time.
I sort of had dropped on it.
Yeah, you say you want to get...
These strings are absolutely stretched.
They were, and even the piano tuner said that. So he says, right, you better, you know, get rid of it basically. And now I've got a clavinet. You went to like, where was it to get the clavinet?
I drove to Newcastle.
Yeah, I drove to Newcastle in one like evening, didn't you? And then drove back to get this clavinova. But it is brilliant, isn't it?
Hold on. Let me get this right. You didn't know this was being bought for you?
He said just on the night, didn't you? I'm driving to I'm not coming home. I'm driving to Newcastle to get a clavinova.
I know. Well, I said you need a clavinova there.
And what did you say to that?
Well, I really like the piano. But anyway, I love the clavinova because it does sound like.
Oh, go on! I love the clavinova.
What? I don't know.
Yamaha's great.
Oh, that's a really nice gesture.
Yeah, it was like I finished on the building site, and the guy's like, "What? You know?" I says, "I've seen this piano. It's like 80 quid." Yeah, this clavinova. It had weighted keys and it is weighted keys.
Yeah.
Beautiful piano. Keys, and I couldn't believe it. 80 quid. But the only sticking point was it's in Newcastle. I mean, I've got a Honda Civic. It kicks ass. So it was just like, got straight off site, and I was like, I'm having that. Drove, but I love driving. I just absolutely love driving. I love driving. I'm a bit of a Mad Max maniac, really. I just love driving motorways, and I really sort of clear my head when I go for big drives. So I had a great time, and it was pretty late.
Enjoyed it. So now I have to say the clavinova is my most favourite instrument.
Sorry about digressing.
Hang on. You just reminded me, just in case she's listening. My favourite musical instrument is my Epiphone Futura that my wife bought me for my birthday 2-3 years ago.
She loves you now, man. There you go. Okay. The love's going round.
Can you name your most influential band or artist?
Yeah. Robert Johnson.
Robert Johnson.
Yeah, because absolutely love the blues, and you do the John Lee Hooker thing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then again, it's other people. I've got some great friends, and I think it's just from music. I mean, if they just said, knowing me and my personality, they're probably go, I'm not your friend, you can fuck off. But to be honest, just having a drink and stuff, but it's the fact you pick up music and get it ingrained in you. But my first guitar teacher was a blues player. I used to go around, had the blues look, had the whole thing, old house, Lincolnshire, down near a place called Coningsby. And
my sister lives around the corner from there.
Does she? We live there.
Tunbury.
Right, there you go. Coningsby and stuff like. We grew up.
Or Tunby.
RAF Coningsby.
Yeah.
And it was. He said you need to listen to this guy, and I had some lessons with him, and I was well into it. And then he just said, listen to the Rolling Stones, and he said, listen to Robert Johnson. And I was like, okay. So I got up and I listened to it. There's a guy on his own, one microphone, by the sound of it and stuff. But it sounded like a whole bunch of people playing at the same time because the technique was amazing. So, and I listen to it now, and it still kicks ass. I mean, Sweet Home Chicago, I played it at ours, and when you play it, it's kind of got that that boxing going on and the blues. So yeah, Robert Johnson. Yeah. Sorry, I was stopped.
No, that's fine.
I think you probably get a bit of a surprise when I say who my musical influence is, but I have to say it's Elvis Presley. And
nothing wrong with that.
No, and I really love the old sort of like when he first started out, all the bluegrass, and when he had his little band and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it was really raw, and his voice sounded really different. I mean, I like some of the 70s stuff, but I don't like the commercial stuff. But you can hear when I played some of the sort of the rockabilly stuff, isn't it?
Rockabilly stuff,
and what they did on this, because we were talking about they did the lyrics and then the guitar kind of followed and supported that, didn't it? Sort of thing. It's about him sort of and that, and you can see what it is and all the different ways played and everything. So yeah, I mean, I've been to Graceland as well, and and Elvis Week, it was really hot. You were melting. It was about 100 degrees at night and stuff. It died.
You've been there and you've seen it,
Yeah, the first we got off the plane. It was like putting your head in an oven. This was about sort of 10 o'clock at night, and then I went to this bar, had a glass of red wine, and just passed out on the bar and missed the Elvis tribute.
Oh no.
It's kind of rock and roll.
Was it Chinese or Japanese Elvis?
I can't remember.
My dad's other half told me about. I think it's Japanese Elvis.
Yeah.
And I was like,
they're big.
What?
They're big on it.
Yeah.
But supposedly there's Korean Elvis.
There's
I said Chinese, Japanese. There's Australian Elvis. And then I don't know if you've heard of it, but you mentioned Nirvana earlier. Have you heard of Elvana?
I have heard of them, and I wanted to
I'm
go
being
and see
told
them,
me and my friend Luke are going to go and watch them.
Well, next time you have to let us know.
Yeah, no, they are coming to Nottingham in November, I believe it is.
Oh,
and hopefully I haven't missed out on tickets yet, because I don't know if he's bought them yet or not.
Oh, wow. We'd probably come along to that. Definitely.
Yeah.
So what is your most favourite Elvis track?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. I suppose because I like all of them, really, but I do like King Creole. I like that one. Yeah, because that's the black and white movies and stuff, and I like all them type of things, So, yeah. There's so many, though, isn't there? It's really difficult to think what they are and everything. But, and then the alternative scene as well. I love like your 9 Inch Nails.
Oh, I love 9 Inch Nails.
Favourite of mine, yeah. And I like Nights Are Rare, but I like the electronic dance music as well. So I'm quite eclectic. I like everything really. At the end of the day,
like I keep telling people, I'm a big drum and bass fan as well as being a metalhead.
Yeah.
And it's not the fact that I dislike certain music. It's more, I find I could never turn up to a drum and bass night because I find them nights are very drug orientated.
Yeah, I'd say that, definitely.
As much as I love the music, I just can never seem to turn up to them.
Yeah.
Which is such a shame on part of the music.
It is, isn't it? They've kind of taken hold of that. Because I remember I used to go down, there's a place we used to go called the Godiva, which was like a real bikers pub, real rock alternative pub. And it's like down in the basement of this place. But they had a drum and bass night. And even though I love the pub and everything, I thought, oh no, I'm not going to go down. Do you know what I mean? Because of like, probably what it's going to be like, so yeah.
Well then, I must say that people outside of the alternative scene probably feel the same way about rock bars. But like I've expressed so many times, you meet some of the most nicest, loveliest people within the alternative scene. It's nice to be so open and comfortable and not afraid to be who you are.
Yeah, that's so important. I think like in an alternative scene, you can really express yourself. Do you know what I mean? I think it's like through the music and that, isn't it? And getting together.
And you're not judged unless you like Metallica.
Do you like Metallica?
I love Metallica, but I know a lot of people are like,
I absolutely love Metallica because we were listening, we were blasting it out, weren't we? When we were going to Beeston, we were like putting St. Anger on, and I love King Nothing. That's my favourite.
It's a killer. That is a killer.
That's one of the albums that people dislike the most that I know, but I've always been one of these that I've loved all of them.
I
love that. It's a killer tune.
Even like the modern stuff that they're doing now. Do you know what I mean? I even love anything that they do. And we like that Disappear one, don't we?
Yeah.
You keep singing that all the time.
By Disappear.
I
love that. And that was never on an album.
Wasn't it?
No.
Oh.
It was a single for Mission Impossible.
Oh, right. And it was never on an album.
Yeah.
Oh. You can't beat Metallica.
Love the melody.
And then the other you were going on one of the podcasts about Megadeth as well.
Yeah.
Megadeth.
And like, I really like them as well.
But they got hard, big sounds and
but they're really
stuff
good, aren't
going
they,
on
as well?
Yeah, they're amazing musicians.
Yeah, we were watching like the Kerrang video the other day, weren't we? Like, of all some of the poppy kind of rocky bands. And I'm not dissing them, but it's kind of much of a muchness sometimes, isn't it? It's a bit commercial and.
Well, it depends what they're playing it for or writing stuff for, And I mean, I think, I mean, sometimes you do, write something so you can get everyone to dance to it, or someone comes up and says it's not my kind of music, but I loved it.
You have to like the crowd pleasers, don't you? Then, like,
you don't know whether or not you've made a mistake there where that happened. It has happened where they've come up and gone, I had a really great time. It's not my kind of music, but...
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to get on to the last two questions. I'm going to bring it to a close. But what are you excited about in the upcoming 6 months?
Playing again, really. Playing music again. Just playing live again. I'm excited. I'm excited to know this lady, and I'm excited to be in the band I'm in. That's it.
That's wonderful.
Good, that is. Yeah.
And you, Tracey?
I think I'm excited about him playing like the Green Festival, like in September, because I think that'll be a good day. That will, and won't it? It'll be like quite a few people there.
Yeah,
and
the organisers.
They've got a great lineup of really good bands as well. So you're on the bill with at the bandstand.
Yeah.
So that's I'm really looking forward to that.
I honestly sat here chatting this afternoon. It is wonderful to see how much support you're giving the band, and just to see you two as lovely as you are. And I hope it's come across the microphone as much as I'm seeing it. Okay, in your opinion, what makes the Notts alternative scene great?
I think I'd say like the NottsRockCast.
I was about to say.
Thanks for that.
I would actually say, that. I would say that because we talked about this on the bus on the way down.
It's true though, isn't it?
And that was like an independent situation doing something for music. Yeah. And I would say you.
Well, it's given us the opportunity
I would actually say that.
I've got an extremely shade of red like your diesel. Oh, that's lovely.
I would say that, definitely. We did say that, didn't we?
Yeah. Because it is hard to break into the scene and everything. It's just nice to be able to talk about your music and what your passion is and stuff like that. Someone who understands it. You know what I mean? That's what I like.
No, I never talk about anything. I'd much rather just get on stage and play and stuff.
Yeah.
And at the minute, I sound like someone that loves to talk, but I don't. I love to sing. But it's just, that is it, isn't it? I like independent people doing independent things and getting heard. Cool.
Yeah.
Right, thank you very much for today. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we bring this to a close?
I'd like to do a bit of a remembrance for my sister and her dog Murphy, who's a little Tibetan Terrier. And Barry met him, didn't you?
I did meet him once.
You've written a little song for him as well, haven't you? I
did.
And he sat and listened to it. So
strumming it out to him.
Yeah.
It'll be good. That's it's work in progress.
Yeah,
so it's happening, but it kicks.
Do you want to shout out anyone?
I would probably shout out. Well, the lady sitting next to me, but that you can hear that, and I'd say Tony. Tony. For coming back. I've known Tony for years and stuff. So he's TS Photographic, isn't he? TS Photographic, he's a photographer and stuff, and he's stuck with us for years and has taken past photographs. Amazing guy, and he wants to do music videos now with us because he says YouTube is the way. And I'm like, going great, But
it is, and I must get on YouTube soon, but I'm going to have to strip out the music from it just to not have issues with having the podcast taken down that I put up on YouTube.
Yeah.
But it will be coming, and you've just heard this first. Yeah. So, right, thank you very much for today. It's been a wonderful chat speaking to both of you, and I've got some really good insights into a lot of different things. So, all the best.
Thanks
Great,
a lot.
thank you, Jeffro.
Thank you very much, Notts Rockers, for listening to NottsRockCast over YouTube. If you would like to check us out on your favourite podcast player, please search NottsRockCast. And don't forget, if you're on social media platforms, give us a like, give us a share. You'll find us at NottsRockCast. Anyway, till next time, keep it Notts, keep it rocks.
NottsRockCast is an association with Regular Riot. Welcome to NottsRockCast, the Notts Alternative Scene podcast. And here is your host, Jeffro D, bringing you everything Notts and Rock.